Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And today I want to talk about the four aims of human life. What basically is a human being? Each of us are here for. Therefore, we can get like the whole picture of the full picture of being in a community and being an individual and really being appreciated for what you bring to the world. And so yeah, I want to talk about the four aims of life. And okay, let me rephrase, let me just get my grip. So okay, I just want to share like a piece, like a piece of my experience that I've learned when it comes to like achieving wisdom, because that's actually like how I move towards the world, is that I have to get like a certain wisdom that like helps me get like the full picture about a situation or the whole like world in full, so that I can navigate my way through life. And yeah, so I just want to share like a piece, like a piece of, I don't know if I can call it an advice, but it's like my life experience. So what I've noticed is that each time I seek wisdom, or I seek wisdom, it can be um, you know there's wisdom in everything that we do. There's wisdom in like the mundanity of life, and then there's wisdom that of an old wise man. But one thing that I've noticed is in like seeking wisdom, or every time I seek wisdom, is that when I've just achieved it, there's always something that I have to sacrifice, which is either my ego or my soul, and it's always recommended that you sacrifice your ego and not your soul, because you still need your soul to enjoy the fruits of life. So it's rather you sell your ego, because your ego, it's the ego is just there to protect us in like our daily life, in distinguishing what is mine and what is yours, so that we just appreciate, I so that you appreciate what's mine, I appreciate what's yours, and then there's no fighting. But then the soul, you needed to experience the joys of life. And another thing is that each time I make these videos, like I have to be in like a healthy ego kind of mindset, so that I'm not attached to my ego of putting videos just for the sake of like monetary value, but that I actually offer like the true wisdom that comes from my understanding, me being like Mercury dominant, and also a side of like a Jupiter as well. So I really have to offer the truth. My task is that I have to offer the truth, share the information that is the truth, and it's in alignment with the universal truth of life. So I just wanted to share that before I move on with the video. What else did I want to share? Okay, another thing I wanted to say is that so these videos are not like something like, I'm still an amateur when it comes to like recording and stuff, and so I kindly need time to know effects, know how to recommend videos. I'm still learning this editing videos and things. So just give me like a little bit of time and I'll get there. What else I need to share? Yeah, it's actually a little bit nerve-wracking to make these videos because I have to be in my authentic self. And one thing that I have to promise is that I have to give you knowledge that is righteous, that is also according to my Dharma, and then therefore that sets me free. So what I wanted to talk about is, okay, I wanted also to mention two of my references that without these two people I cannot produce this knowledge on this information and this knowledge, this truth to you without these two people. And these two people will be kind of like the backbone of all these videos, because I have to visit their channels and kind of read, kind of get immersed in and get marinated in their channels, and then so that I understand whatever I understand, because obviously I won't understand the full works of their work, but whatever I can grab, I'll grab, and then I'll then share the information. But in doing so, it is very important that I don't like tint the knowledge, or I don't corrupt the purity of the knowledge that I get from these people, because these people also have pledged to give out the truth to us YouTubers, to us, to everybody. So I also have to do the same thing, and therefore, you know, we respect the universal truth. We do not corrupt anybody, you know, because knowledge, people can get corrupted, guys. So what I wanted, okay, am I done mentioning? Okay, so so in my work and in all the videos that I'm going to release in the future, I really want you guys to know that Clear Nakti, which is one of the two people that I have to regularly go, visit her channel and really get immersed and get whatever I can get from there. Like, her work really sets like the almost like the structure of my work, almost like the body of my work. And I really need that, I really need that. And she is sun dominant apparently, and sun people are all about the truth. They're all about Dharma. They're all about conveying the truth in whatever way they do. And so such that no one is like delusional or falls into any illusion, but can actually see clearly what they face around the world. So yeah. And another thing is that the second part of my reference, which is the full name is Jessica, but she in YouTube she goes by Jess Pocket. She's like the chaos witch. So her work actually forms like the blood. Okay, I know this is weird to say, but it's like her work forms like the blood that circulates through the body. So so like Clear Nakti gives me like the body, like the frame structure, the backbone. But then Jess Pocket, she gives me like the circulatory system. Like, it's responsible for transporting blood throughout the system and getting rid of any deoxygenated blood out, and all of that. So these two people at this current time, they're very essential to my work. So everything that I'll be saying, it will simply be like something that I've repackaged from their work. So I just wanted to say that, because it's very important that I acknowledge these people as much as I can do, so that you also know that the knowledge that I'm getting is actually from them. So therefore I lead you to listen to their information as best as you can, so that you can use your discernment and your intuition when you're watching my video. Also use the information that you have so far, because every individual has like a different experience of life. So my experience might be limited to your experience, but you might have not came across my experiences of life. So yeah, I just hope you get what I'm saying. So what I wanted to talk about today is like the four aims of life, which is Dharma, which is like the righteousness, you know, and like the duty, you know, like it's the duty that we are all here to do, you know, when you come to earth. It's the duty that's Dharma, you know. You know, when you ask about like what is my purpose in life, you know, I'm pretty sure like everyone at a certain stage of their life asks themselves that question, like what is you know, what is my purpose in life? And it is essential that you know that, so that you know, kind of like yes, it's a duty that you set yourself, you know, that you pace yourself, but then it's like you're not wasting your time basically, you know, in this life, you know. So Dharma is duty, which has to do with righteousness, like, you know, the right conduct of doing things and whatnot, and is also connected to your like for those of you like who know like your Vedic astrology, it has to do with your like, the axis between your Rahu and your Ketu. Yes, that access your Rahu K2 connection. It has to do with that. That's what your Dharma has to do. And if you connect with that, and that will bring a lot of understanding. But that's if you really know what you're doing. Because guys, I'm from South Africa, and I think it's South Africa's, or I think it's the western part of society. So there's a lot of warning about like Kundalini awakening, that like Western people are told not to, like, to be extremely very careful when talking about Kundalini, because it is said that if you activate your Kundalini, the best and the worst thing that can happen when someone does that, because you become awakened, and yeah, it's a whole ball of information of that you can get and decide to change out of your life. So, and the second thing is Artha, and Artha has to do with wealth and your economic values, you know, like more material things. And then the third one is Karma. Karma has to do with pleasure, you know, like how, you know, the things that you value in life, and all of the things that you value in life. And this is usually clearly depicted by Venus dominant people, like their ferocity, you know, like they put all their passion and ferocity towards the things that they love. And especially Falguni, and Karma, which is pleasure. It's associated with the Greek goddess Aphrodite, and it's all about love. It's all about all of those things, but you really have to understand these things very carefully. And the what's this? Your Venus placement is all about like the karma. Yeah, it's all about that. Yeah, as well. And also your seventh house. And then the fourth one, lastly, the fourth one is called Moksha. Yeah, it's Moksha. And Moksha is about liberation. Basically, it's about, you know, liberation, like being free of a lot of things that you personally feel that they are holding you back, you know, and that's Moksha. But then these things, you know, all of these four aims of life, you have to connect them in a certain way so that they can give you the best results, so that you can get there, you know. Because like Cleanacti said, Cleanacti says that in the Kama Sutra, it states that Artha, which is wealth, precedes karma, which is pleasure, while dharma, which is righteousness and your duty and your purpose in life, precedes both karma and artha. So this means that you have to focus on your duty first, before you have to focus on the right conduct of wherever you are in life. Let's say, for example, you are in like a job situation. You have to be ethical, and all of it has to do with ethics and duty, doing what's right, basically, even if your morals are against that at the time. But once you really connect these four aims of life, like it really puts your life in a state where it can defend itself. You don't need to defend it every time. It just is, and people respect you for that. Like automatically people respect you for that, because you have put yourself through the paces. And dharma is something that you can't really get around with. You can't take shortcuts with your dharma, because it is what you're here to do for. It is what you're here to do, and also to give, maybe let's say to contribute to a society, and that is very important to your life, particularly, and yeah, I hope you understand that. So dharma basically is about connecting to the universal truth, the universal understanding, yeah. Another thing I wanted to, another thing that you can better understand this dharma concept is that there's a movie called what's this movie? It's about this wealthy man, but it's back in the days, like it's kind of old movie, where like this guy is wealthy, but is not wealthy in like the sense of a modern life. He's wealthy in the sense that everything is traditional. They live in those lands that were not developed, and that they're in a community. And this guy, like he's basically a father, like he's the father, and he owns like cows. He owns like your farming things, and each time he has to go to the community, to offer them either milk that is from the cows, or meat, if like chickens, because he owns like chickens and stuff, and like those farming. So that's where he's wealthy, and he also has daughters as well, but that's like for another topic. So it's like he owns these things, but obviously you can't give away these things. So what do? You become part of a community, when you like then share some of it, which is in the form of milk. You own a cow, but then what can you get out of the cow that you can contribute to the society, the community, so that everyone benefits from your wealth as well, and then everyone is appreciated for what other people can bring to the table. For example, other people can own like is it a vineyard? Yeah, where you grow grapes, and you can do wine, and yeah, and then you can contribute your wine, and everyone in a way sort of like comes together and celebrates together for what they bring to the table, and it's a community, and yeah. So that's all related to this concept, the four aims of life, of like any human being, basically. So what am I missing? So yeah, that's dharma in general, like being righteous, standing for what is right, like ethical, and yeah, it can be very simple, and it can be very mundane thing it can be hard when you are actually working and your work situation is not like entirely on the boat, especially like me, where you work in a company where there's like a tyrannical boss, like at the top, like at the senior management. And that boss, because like he's like top management, like it really affects like the other levels of management. So yeah, shout out to everyone who like is in the same situation where like you have to go to work, but that but at the job, like they're underpaying you for the value that you bring to the table, and they just basically want you there to just usurp whatever energy you bring to the table. And then so I'm also in that kind of situation. So shout out to whoever is like really creative on one side, but on the other side has to go to work that they don't feel they don't love basically the job. Is what I want to say. So yes, so basically you have to get like your Dharma right, and then there's Dharma. Once you get it right, and then it gives you your Artha, which is like your economic value, which is like any like wealth, like money. Sometimes, okay, most probably it's gonna be monetary wealth, but it can be other wealth, that you can get out of it, which then leads to karma, right? And karma has, it's Venus. Karma is Venus. It's pleasure, and it also has its own intelligence. That at the moment I'm not ready to really deliver that message, but it also has its own intelligence that then leads to liberation, which is moksha. So these things are actually in line, with one another. So so Dharma usually is associated with like Saturn and Sun ruled people, because especially Saturn ruled people, like the planet Saturn, because these people are very concerned with doing the right thing. They believe that the whole world is right, but they have to adjust themselves constantly adjust themselves, constantly do like self-reflection, self-introspection, like self-evaluation, and that actually sets their own personal dharma into motion, and helps them get Artha, which is the economic value, because they always want to do the right thing, especially with also sun dominant people. Sun dominant are very, very, very associated with Dharma, because it's the fire element, and the sun is said to exalt in Ashwini, which is the first nakshatra, which is the very first nakshatra in the Vedic Vimshitari system. Sorry, like I'm only illiterate, in these topics, but I'm really getting like good information that I can share with the world. But the thing with this information, I have to make this very, very clear, is that you really have to check these two references, Clear Nakti and Just Pocket, in order to fully understand everything that I'm saying. So and also this information is not entirely for everyone. So if you can understand my information, it means that you have a little bit of knowledge, already, that kind of connects with my knowledge, and if you don't understand it, then then you don't understand it, then maybe I would just advise you to go to Clear Nakti or Just Pocket. Maybe they will explain it better to you. But what else I wanted to say? Yes, and so there are movies that like I want to recommend like that associated with Dharma, that you can really get like a clear view of what I'm talking about when I say Dharma, as being the first thing that a person needs to be concerned about, right? And then there's Artha, and like it's like you're building it, from Dharma to Artha to Karma, and then to ultimately Moksha. And I have to say that this, like, aligning all of these concepts, like, can really really take like your entire lifetime, like it can take many generations to come, because it's not easy, it's not easy. You really have to start like from ground zero. And yeah, so it's not as easy. Oh, also Dharma. Okay, one person in the media, like in the modern media, that really shows like Dharma, and then going from Dharma to Artha, from Artha to Karma, and to ultimately Moksha, is Andrew Tate. And I know Andrew Tate is like, it's like very upfront and says, whatever he says, and he means whatever he says. But if you really look into his life, you can tell that if you just if you just look at his life in a process, meaning like where he started, what things he had to go through, and um and his betrayals, and his heartache, his like headaches, and everything in his life, you can tell that he really combines all of these four concepts in his life. Like, he has really done it. He's came to dark places that you don't know anything about, but you can relate to him, like hopefully you can relate to him, because I kind of relate to him. But that's the concept that he's bringing. It's essentially that's what I mean, that he comes from a dark place. He comes from a place where he felt not worthy, and he had to work on himself, try to align himself to the universal truth, and all the way, and all the way to karma, and how he treats people, and whatever, and all of that. I know a lot of the things he says is like, he's upfront, and he can say a lot of things that, like, an average human being, like an average human being, like, don't necessarily agree with at first. But someone who's like educated or more advanced, like, can start seeing the wisdom. And that's why you have like young guys who have like minds that are radical, like they can really connect with him because they understand what he's saying. Like, he has like disillusioned like young people, and people who inspire to become like the true masculinity. And he's all about that. Like, he's really all about it, and that he stands, he stands for it, like through and through. And he has motivated other people, which is really Dharma, which is so, yeah. And there's another movie that explains like karma, which is Matthew McConaughey. There's a movie called like The Beach. Is it The Beach Bum? Yeah, it's The Beach Bum, where he really, it's almost like he's spending his money like on useless things. But the things he says, he's just being generous. He's he's just living in the moment and enjoying things. And those are the things that we all do. We all do once we feel like we've worked so hard, and it's month end, and we get paid. You really want to indulge in yourself when you get paid, like at the month, like at the end of the month, so that you release all of the tension. And you, like, when you go back to work, you come back to work like the refreshed mind, and you've released like all the baggage from the previous month. And that's really essential. like it's really essential for everyone. And Oscar Wilde, and for those of you who know Oscar Wilde, like I'm not really a bookworm, but I source my information like wherever I can, especially on video, especially on YouTube. But I'm not really a bookworm. Like I don't know why, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of an embarrassing thing for me. Like I'm not really a bookworm. But Oscar Wilde, for those of you who know him, he's also like into arts and beauty, and you know, it's arts for art's sake, you know, and you know, it's Aphrodite, and that's karma, you know, and yeah, and what am I forgetting though? What am I forgetting? I don't know what am I forgetting, but basically that's the thing. So if you like if you like if you have if you let if you have like a role model or someone you really admire, and you're like asking yourself, why is this person so successful and he makes it very effortlessly, that's because they also had to connect their Dharma and Artha and then Karma and then Moksha. So what you might be seeing at that current moment, at that space in your life, you might be seeing this person's karma, or actually moksha, which is liberation, where this person is actually liberated from things that were weighing them down, you know. Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to make this a little video, and just wanted to introduce my face and introduce like the concepts that I'll be working with. It's like it's a lot of concepts that are out there, like around the world. They're just scattered around the world, and I just have to collect them, repackage them, like present them in a way that you can understand, you know, while at the same time maintaining its integrity, you know, its purity, its love in there. And I have to say, like, sometimes it's really hard, because you yourself as a person, as a messenger, you have to be, you know, you have to be in vibration, you know, in vibrational alignment with that. Like you have to be, you know, you don't have to be like you have to be fresh, you know, in your mind, in your thoughts, in your body, like not sickly. Like you don't have to be sickly. You guys get what I mean. Like you guys get what I mean. You just have to be, yeah. So basically, just channeling that information. Yeah, basically, I'm just trying to channel. So I have like K2 in Shavana, and that is all about like reading the scriptures and really getting the full picture of things, um and yeah, and I have like a moon in Hasta, which is like a very big deal, because Hasta is very powerful. It's a very powerful nakshatra, and you know, I'm still learning about all of these things, and yeah, and just, you know, putting myself through the paces so that like I don't jump into too much information that I'm not ready for. But you know, I understand things, you know, like in bit-sized pieces, and that I can be able to present as well. So thank you so much for your time, for watching this video. If you like it, please comment and subscribe, and be my Patreon. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.